So this is Dexter. Dexter, say hi to the people. Hi guys, it's Stephanie, and I have officially had Dexter, my psychiatric service dog, for 1 week now, and everything is totally fine. Okay, so obviously everything is not fine. It's been a roller coaster of emotions this last week. I do want to get into some footage where I show some of the training and socialization that I have done with Dexter over the last week, but I do want to kind of give everyone an update on how I'm doing mentally. I do think it is important to discuss that given the fact that he is a psychiatric service dog and I will be training him myself with my mental health issues. I think it's important to highlight the reality of what that's like. So I want to start by saying that Dexter is not my first puppy. He's just dying over here, no big deal. So first I want to start by saying that Dexter is not my first puppy. As an adult, he's actually my fourth puppy. And so this isn't my first rodeo. However, this is my first time raising a puppy. But he is my first psychiatric service dog or service dog, period, that I will be training myself. And it's the first time I will be raising a puppy with the severity of my mental health being what it is. So I think that's why it's been so much of a challenge. So day one, I was super excited to go fly to California to pick him up. I was hyped up, I had no sleep, but I was just living off adrenaline and I felt great. Then day two came around and reality started to kick in, the adrenaline started to wear off, and I started to realize I'm raising a puppy and a toddler, and I have depression, and anxiety, and bipolar disorder, and PTSD. That's kind of crazy. So all of that really started to kick in and ultimately kind of led to a little bit of a mental breakdown. So at first I didn't really realize it was happening. At first it started with some dissociation. So I felt very out of touch with my body. I had no sense of time. Anything that wasn't related to Dexter, I couldn't focus on. I put all of my focus on him and on training and on posting the video of meeting him, and anything outside of that was just really irritating to me. I was being very irritable with my husband and my daughter. I wasn't eating well, I wasn't sleeping well. I just felt completely disconnected from the people around me as well as with myself, to be honest. On top of my dissociation, my anxiety was at an all-time high. I was freaking out about every little thing. I was worried that Dexter would have an accident in the house with potty training. I was worried that he wasn't catching on to obedience training. I was freaking out about how my toddler was interacting with him. Dexter was biting a ton, so that was really hard and that was giving me anxiety. I've been putting myself in situations that I normally wouldn't put myself in just for the sake of exposure and socialization for him, and that was really hard on my anxiety too. Now I know a lot of these things may sound small for the average person, but as someone who deals with mental health issues, these small little things are, to me, in my messed up brain, really big, significant thing. And I know change is hard for anybody, but especially as someone who struggles with mental health issues, change is incredibly hard. Any shift in my routine is really difficult for me to cope with, so I had a hard time adjusting to that. Now with my head spinning with the dissociation as well as with the anxiety, it all just became too much for me to handle, and it just left me exhausted, and I just ended up going into this deep depressive episode where I couldn't really get out of bed. I couldn't make any food for myself. I couldn't take care of Dexter. I couldn't take care of Aspen. I was relying on Matt to do almost everything for me. I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do. I wasn't even enjoying the fact that I had a puppy. So all of this made me focus on self-care as a priority. Now I have a confession to make. This isn't actually week one of me having Dexter. It's actually been a little over 2 weeks that I have had him, but because of all the challenges I had after week one, I decided to take a break from filming, take a break from editing, and just focus on myself as well as my bond and enjoying the time with Dexter and just kind of getting myself back centered so that I felt like myself again and I could come back even better. And the break gave me some good time to reflect and decide how I wanted to manage my time better so that I could enjoy documenting this process as well as enjoy training and raising a service dog puppy. puppy. So now that I've taken a break, I am feeling much better. It's not perfect, it's still hard, but I definitely feel like I am coping better and I am taking the time to enjoy my family and to enjoy Dexter and really prioritize the right thing. So now that we got all of that depressing, negative energy out of the way, I want to focus on the positives and the good things that have happened after week 1. So by far the best part of raising Dexter has been getting, ow, Dexter, ow! The worst part has been biting. You stop it, you stop it, you stop it. So by far the best part of raising Dexter has been the snuggles, of course. He is a very lovey-dovey puppy. He loves me holding him. He sits still very well. Meanwhile, he's like running around in the background. We've been joking and saying that he's been doing some light pressure therapy. If you know anything about deep pressure therapy, it's just a little joke because he only weighs about 5 pounds and can't really offer much therapeutic effect with his body weight. I love when he sees me first thing in the morning or when I get home and his whole body just wiggles, he wags his tail and he's so happy. It's the greatest feeling. I also appreciate that he's sleeping through the night and so I don't have to let him out in the middle of the night to go potty anymore. And let me tell you, that dog, he can sleep. He will sleep and sleep and sleep. And then he'll play for a little bit, and then he'll sleep, and then he'll eat a little bit, and then he'll sleep again, and he just loves to sleep. But I actually do appreciate it because it gives me a nice little break. He's also doing really well with potty training. For the first couple days that we had him, he actually didn't have a single accident, which was crazy. But since then, we have had a couple of accidents, but it's been a while. We've been adding potty cues, so we've been telling him go potty so he can pee and do business so that he can poop. Now, I know I keep saying we, but I am not the only one raising Dexter. My husband helps me.
Damn it, Dexter! Stop it!
What was
He's just eating the buttons in the background.
My husband is helping a lot too. So when I say we, I mean my husband and I are both practicing these things. And we are also practicing him going on different surfaces. So he has pooped and peed in grass, in mulch, in rocks, and that way he's not just used to going in the grass and getting complacent with that, so that when we take him out to places where grass is not available, he can still go. Crate training has also been really helpful for potty training. He stays in the crate overnight. He also gets put in the crate for nap times when I can't watch him and I need to get things done. And it's also good separation for him being away from me, right? Because I don't want him to be so attached to me that he gets anxiety when he's separated from me. It would be ironic if my psychiatric service dog had anxiety too. Another thing we have been working on has been socialization and exposure training. So at this age, socialization and exposure is really just more about hearing different sounds and seeing different things that are unusual that he doesn't normally see at home. Because he is still young, he's not fully vaccinated, he's not leash trained, and his obedience is very much at the starting points. So right now I've just been keeping him in a little sling, which he loves, and we just walk around and make sure that all of those experiences are positive. He's getting a lot of treats and a lot of pets. Normally, you don't want strangers to pet a service dog because eventually we want him to be trained to ignore people. But because he's so young and we are still socializing him, we want people to pet him. We want people to give him treats because we want him to associate people with good things so that he doesn't have a fear of them in the future. In the beginning, I was actually very excited about exposure training because I thought, how cool is it that I have to find these different experiences to expose him to? However, I do have social anxiety, so I didn't realize how taxing that would be on me. I definitely underestimated how much people would stare and how many questions people would ask, so that's been really difficult too. Still, to some extent, I have been enjoying it. There have been times where I was having bad days and we went out, and just getting out and seeing Dexter doing so well in these different environments has actually helped me feel better. But it actually is a lot of work taking a dog out with you everywhere. There's a lot of supplies that you always have to make sure you have, and you kind of have to assume the worst when you go out. Is anyone going to give you an access issue or deny you access into a business? Are people going to judge you and think that you don't really need a service dog, or you're just bringing your pet everywhere that you want to go? There really is a lot to taking a dog everywhere with you. But like I said, it could be rewarding in a lot of ways too. So the first time we took him out, we actually took him to the pet store, which was an awesome experience because he got to experience a lot of different sounds like birds. There weren't a lot of animals in this pet store, but he did get to see birds and he got to see fish, and he did awesome with those, so that was really fun. We've also taken him to bigger, noisier places like the mall, and he got to practice going up and down an escalator. There's also a gym inside of the mall, so he got to see some guys playing basketball. We also took him to an arcade where it was nice and noisy and there were a ton of bright lights, so it was just a lot of things he maybe wouldn't normally see or hear in average day-to-day life. And he's also been to the vet so that he can start getting some of his vaccinations, as well as getting used to a stranger kind of touching his ears, looking at his eyes, listening to his heart, all of those things that he should become more and more comfortable with. He actually did really well at the vet. He was exhausted and he was a little bit of a potato. Then we took him to puppy socialization class because we do want him to also have good experiences with other dogs in a controlled environment, and also just kind of getting some of that energy out as a puppy, because it is important that he does just kind of have normal puppy playtime to just be a dog and not just always be working or doing training that's related to service dog work. Now, when we're going to all of these different places, he does travel in a car seat in the back seat where he just gets clipped in, and it is safer, and that way he doesn't always get used to just sitting on me. Even though we've been doing a lot of this training outside of the home, we've also been enforcing some good positive service dog training inside the home as well. I've also been handling him a lot, so just like at the vet, taking a look at his ears, his teeth, his paws. We did a little bit of an unsuccessful nail trim, but we did get it done, even though he wasn't entirely happy with it. We have been working on the biting issues because that has been a major roadblock for us. He loves to bite both furniture as well as us, so he's really starting to get used to practicing good house manners too. We have been working with obedience commands like leave it and off. He does have to sit before he can get up on the couch. He does have to wait before he can get his food. So we really want to make sure that he practices good impulse control. That way he doesn't just think he can do what he wants when he wants, that there are rules and that he does have to follow them. We've also been practicing just some normal movement things like him going up and down stairs and jumping off the bed. And let me tell you, he is fearless. He has no problem jumping off the bed or going up and down the stairs. We've had to reinstall baby gates around the house just to prevent him from wandering off. But despite being fearless of going up and down stairs and jumping off things, with him being so small, he is terrified of our self-filling water bowl. Now, aside from just basic house manners, he's also been learning basic obedience as well. We have been working on him with sit. He's also been learning down, and we are working on come. That one is not as solidified as the others. His recall isn't exactly what we would hope that it would be, but we're working on it. I think he does understand me. I just think he doesn't always want to come. If there is food involved or really good treats, there's maybe a 50% chance that he will come. And we are also working on stand and look at me so that he can have good attention and know to pay attention to me to get the treats that he wants. Now, both Matt and Aspen have been an awesome help with reinforcing the training around the house. They've also been doing great at bonding with him. I'm actually glad, as difficult as it is, that we have a toddler in the home, because it helps create good positive experiences for Dexter, but also gets him used to the loud crying and screaming that she does, as well as being handled maybe a little bit more roughly than the average person would. They also help a ton with walking him, making sure that he's going potty, making sure he's not chewing on furniture that he shouldn't, and wearing him out by playing with him a ton. So it's really nice to see how he's bonding with everyone else in the family. Now, in terms of the other dogs, he's getting along pretty well with Negan, who is our Alaskan Malamute. Negan is only about 4 years old, so he's still young and rambunctious and loves to play with Dexter and help get some of that energy out. Now, our other dog is actually also a Cavalier. His name is Oliver. He's a little bit older. He's about 8 years old. 9 years old, and although he does tolerate Dexter pretty well, anytime Dexter wants to play, he's not exactly thrilled about it. But the biggest work in progress has been our cat Zola. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. Now, Dexter has gotten over his fear of her because on day one she did hiss at him, and that totally freaked him out. but now he's moved on to the point where he wants to just play with her, and she is not about that. So that about covers everything we have worked on with Dexter over the first week of his training and socialization. I'm looking forward to continuing to form a close bond with him. I'm also excited to see more of his personality come out and watch him continue to come out of his shell. I cannot wait for potty training to be over. I'm also hoping that with time I become more desensitized to going out and interacting with more people, and that helps my social anxiety and I get a little bit more comfortable with it. But I am very, very much looking forward to when he gets into group training with the company that we're working with to train him, where he'll get to work side by side with other service dogs in training. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow my journey and be a part of this awesome community of about 7 people, I'm such a loser. Please subscribe, and if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button and let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.